What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to ATI Auto Transport. It is Wednesday. It is noon. That means it's time for D.O.T. compliance. We've got your D.O.T. guy, Brian Riker, here to answer questions. We're going to look at some stuff. Man, it was a busy week last week. We have no show next Wednesday, so we're going to jump right into it. Please do feel free to jump into the live chat, ask a question, and we're also going to show that if you miss the live show and you ask it in YouTube, Brian will still give you the full answer. So, no problem there. Live or on demand, we got you covered. Do us a favor. You can leave a like. Please do. Click share. Click copy. Grab that YouTube link. Don't forget, right below the video, there is a plus save button. You can click plus save. Watch it later. Save it for the kids. So yeah, please do say hello in the live chat. It is now time. Let's say hello to the man of the hour, the one and the only. He is your DOT guy. He's here to help. Brian Riker, can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Jay. And if they click that plus save, I can put their kids to sleep for them, guaranteed in 20 minutes or less.
It's kind of like Sleeping Baby. You know that commercial? I love that one. Actually, that's a great idea. And I was saying at the show that I'd like to have a supply chain bedtime story book.
Yeah,
There
that would work.
Ship and a shipping container, Sleeping Baby. Cool. We got Ty is here. David at Two Bears is here. Douglas M says hello. What's up, Douglas? Cable Trader is here. What's up, Cable Trader? Silver Mint. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Super cool. I'll tell you what. So I'm going to jump right in with some news because this could be the question on your mind or not. I'm just going to share anyways. So last week, there's a shot of the booth. It really came together. It was amazing. We had our sponsor, Black Widow Imaging. They put together that spider background, and I brought my lights and tripods, and I've got 2 webcams set up here. This is where I sat in the middle. Had a guest spot over here. That's our friend Joe Bercari. And then on the monitor, you could watch the live stream as it was happening. It was
very well done.
It was, man, thank you. It really was a lot of work, but it really paid off. I think we proved something, and amazing. An amazing moment for ATI. Now, there's me, the Tuesday night show in the hotel, right, using boxes. Not even a proper Apple box, as they have in Hollywood, but yeah. So there's my setup in the hotel room. That was great. Kimberly got that one. And then This is my point of view in the booth. Look at that.
Nice. Well, I shared with you the screenshot of me live in Tennessee at the Tow Show last year, and I know what goes into putting these together, and I do about 12 trade shows a year. It's not easy, but it's great that you're bringing the message right where it is, and ATI, the transporters are represented among the big boys now.
Pretty cool. Yeah, dealers, auctions, consigners, associations. Then I spoke on stage. There's me behind the podium with 4 auto transport business professionals. Joe Bercari, Midwestern Car Carriers, Dana Rogers, Pre-Owned Auto Logistics, Jose Delgado, Location Services, John Robertson, Ship Your Car Now. So I spoke for 45 minutes, interacting with them. Then we took some Q&A for 10 to 15. It was a full 1-hour event. Amazing stuff. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to ATI. Let's get to the questions. All right, we're already 5 minutes in. We bet you can't stump Brian Riker, but we want you to try. And I was talking about YouTube questions, ground clearance. In summation, the answer to this was what?
It's not as big of an issue as it would appear. That video from 4 years ago with the belly load, it's like a Wallymo 4-car hauler, 3 on the top, 1 in the belly. It looks very low to the ground, but there are federal motor vehicle safety standards on just how low to the ground it can be. Your biggest issues would be entering and exiting parking lots, especially out in the Southwest where they don't have underground drainage, so they have a lot of dips and above ground drains for the stormwater. Crossing an intersection where the crown of the road might hang you up, and railroad tracks. But even there, it isn't as big of an issue as it seems, because that's a relatively short trailer. Now, on the bigger trailers, the Stinger steer auto transporters, a lot of them have air suspension, and they have an override button to lift it up a couple inches to make sure you don't get hung up. But just a matter of how you approach it to keep that trailer from getting hung up. If in doubt, cut across something at a 45-degree angle so that you don't high center the trailer. And it happens to the best of us. I've had my own trailer hung up once at a repo yard, so it happens.
You know, when I read this, all I could think about was that guy that got hung up. I think it was in Oklahoma, and he was trying to cross the railroad track.
And we watched a car bounce off the back of his trailer before it landed on the ground. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of situational awareness. You have to be very careful and look ahead and realize what you're getting into when you're driving a low ground clearance trailer like that.
Then we had another good one on YouTube. Again, put your questions into YouTube if you missed Brian live, and then I'll share the email address. You can send it in. Hey, brother, I'd like to know, how long does a driver have to actually take the test when the clearinghouse calls out a driver to get tested?
The very short answer is, do not pass go, do not collect $200, report immediately to the collection facility. Once the driver is notified, they must immediately report, and immediate is more or less within 2 hours, but that's not a hard and fast. You can't wait an hour and then go. You have to proceed immediately. So as a motor carrier, when you are ordering a drug and alcohol test from the random selection, you'll be notified ahead of time, unless you are the driver, like a owner operator. You have, depending upon your consortium, anywhere from 1 to 30 days to make arrangements to send that driver for the test. But the moment you notify the driver, then they must immediately take the test. That's why the large companies route you back to the terminal, and you know what they want, but they can't tell you. And then you walk in the office and they hand you a specimen cup and say, let's go. For guys that are on the road, make sure you've found a collection facility, you know where your truck is, you know that the driver can get there, or he can park and hop in an Uber, and then they have to immediately report. Now, keep in mind, if you call the driver when he is off duty, the driver still has a legal obligation to report for a drug test. Alcohol test you are not allowed to administer unless they are just before starting work, during their work shift, or immediately after their work shift before being released from duty. But if you call your driver up on Sunday and say, hey, Monday morning, stop and take a drug test before you get in your truck, you violated the law. That driver now has to go immediately that Sunday evening and go find a place that's open and take the drug test.
Hey, Ty wants to know, he's got a question for you right in the live chat. Brian, how do you think the 3 to 4 car hauler population is doing right now?
Depends on who you talk to. The sky's falling, or it is clear blue skies. It's going to depend upon the work that they're transporting. Routine dealer work is a little difficult. Personal owned vehicles are still moving, but discretionary spending is getting tight. Salvage is always going to be there. Vehicles are always getting wrecked, and now that people are traveling again, that is picking up. But I think that market is a little more agile than a 7 or a 9 car hauler, so they can adjust where they go, when they go, and how they go quicker to fight off the effects of high fuel prices. When you only have to build 3 vehicles to have a load, it's a lot easier than trying to build 9 vehicles off of the load board and the spot market freight. So I think they're doing okay at the moment.
And I think Ty is thinking about costs and whatnot, and I know you're considering that too. So on the other side of that question, how about 7 and 9 Stingers and then new and used cars? What do you think's happening there?
Well, and this is just pure speculation. I don't have any current information from my customers, but if you had good long-term contracts, provided you had a mechanism to adjust for a fuel surcharge, you're going to do just fine. If you were relying on load board work and the brokers haven't adjusted for current fuel and current operating costs, such as the inavailability to get parts and source replacement trucks and such, you're probably struggling. With dealers not having as many cars to sell, not as many vehicles are running through the auctions, the wholesale transport, especially coming off irregular route, spot market, load board work, broker work, that is probably a tough market to be in right now. But if you have good long-term shippers and dedicated contract work that are your own customers, as long as you have a good working relationship with your customer, they're feeling the same effects you are on rising costs. I'm sure they're willing to work with you.
So then a follow up on that is that, do you think brokers are properly adding for the cost of fuel?
The good brokers are, because they want to keep their good carriers in business. Brokers get a really bad reputation, and there's a portion of that population that are absolute scumbags and will take advantage of everybody, but that happens everywhere. But the good brokers, the ones that you've built a relationship with for years, the good brokers understand that they're good carriers, that they give their good work to, need to be profitable to stay in business, and they don't want to deal with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that bought a truck when freight was paying great and is now scraping bottom, willing to take anything to stay in business. So they're going to take care of their good people, and they're going to price their loads accordingly. And if they're not priced accordingly, let them sit. Don't operate at a loss just to operate your truck. You lose less money sitting parked than you do running for a loss.
Well, let's do some more news. Thank you, Brian. How we doing? Well, shoot, man, it's time for how we doing. I think I've got a video that I'm gonna run, but first I've got to try to get. There we go. So when you're in the parking lot and you play that music in your mind, when you see the future flip of the week. Let's watch a video. This is insane. And Devin says he just emailed me, so I think I'm going to check that. I don't see your email, Devin. Oh, wait. He might have emailed you. So, here, let me put this in the live chat. Devin, if you want to email me, if you've got something to add, send in the news, send it to autotransportintel@gmail.com. If you have a question for Brian and you want to read a book, send it to onair@YourDOTGuy.com. Here comes a video. Let's see what we got here. This was crazy. Oh, Fritz sent this in. Thank you, Fritz. Thank you for... Thank you for... This is the Will Smith of auto transport. Oh, brother.
Oh, that is brutal.
It's just gnarly. And I love the little kisses all over that other car. It's so nice.
And with that big steel I-beam to protect that underpass, this has to have been well marked.
Exactly. Look, check it. There it. Here comes the signage. It's actually, I think it's in the video. Why am I thinking I saw it?
I don't know, but he definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, I do believe I'd seen one, and I'm thinking that maybe it isn't a yellow I-beam to protect the underpass. I'm thinking that's the boom of the wrecker, but it might be an I-beam to protect that underpass.
Right.
Either way, know your clearance, guys. A height stick costs $100 or $15 or $20 if you want to make your own. Go to the local plumbing supply or home improvement store. Buy a piece of 3/4 inch plastic pipe, measure it to 13.6 or 14 foot if you're running out west where that's legal, put a 90-degree in it, and there is your poor man's height stick. Or buy a good one for $100 or so on Car Hauler Supply or something.com or something like that, and know for sure what your clearance is. Don't guess. And I am so sick of seeing the social media, well, what can I actually run that route at? You can actually run it at 13 foot 6 freaking inches if that's the law. Otherwise, you're asking for trouble because you don't know when the road's going to frost heave. You don't know when they
Oh
repaved
shoot, man!
something
I
and
think
didn't
I had
post
it.
it.
Can't see. I had my screen messed up. So keep talking. I'm so sorry, guys. Keep talking. You're on a. You're talking about. Okay, so yeah, I screwed that
I'm
up.
talking about the height. I'm just talking about the height and being legal and legit. This pushing your over height is gonna hurt you. And it hurts the whole industry when we have claims like this because they lump us all together on the insurance. So know how tall you are, know your route, and don't push what the legal height is for the area you're running.
I saw. It must have been a photo right before the. First of all, that bridge. Look how low that looks.
Uh-huh.
I mean. Okay, so first
Oh, there
of
it
all,
is. There is a height sign in there, and that is a big yellow diamond mark, protect the bridge. So you need to have some clue, and don't buy into, oh, bridges are a foot taller than their mark. That's just to scare you off. That isn't always true. Yes, New York State generally has bridges marked a foot lower than they actually are, and there's a stretch of the BQE expressway in New York City that is marked at 12.8, but you can run it at 13.8. But don't rely on that, because when something goes wrong, it's your ticket, it's your insurance claim.
I still can't believe, it's almost worse than the Oklahoma one because I can't believe this guy went for it. It's so low. The bridge, what is that? 8.6? Is that what that said?
Yeah, that it looks something like 8.6
Yeah.
or 9.6. That looks like a bridge on a parkway in New York somewhere.
Exactly. It does. It looks like he's in Central Park. Yeah. Like, it's so low, there's an I-beam to protect the bridge.
I've seen that at airports, around other vehicle shipping facilities where they don't want the trucks there. I've seen that going into Walmarts and stuff when they don't want the truck in the parking lot anymore.
8.6, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Your pickup truck is almost 7 foot tall to the roof of it. So just some simple common sense would have prevented this.
And so
I am throwing this guy under the bus for not being aware of what's going on and stopping before you hit it. And he didn't just bump it like he was trying to sneak under it.
Gosh.
He hit that at highway speed like he was completely oblivious to what was going on.
And this is the thing. So maybe stressed out. And this is where, again, I mean, when I'll tell you honestly, I'm at the conference and I'm talking to dealers and consigners and auction folks, executives, they're in the office. And I said, this job is so hard. You've got to think about it. You may not want to. I don't want to ruin your day. But, just we went to Manheim, Nevada. And we were in the transport parking lot for 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, I saw a guy shimmy down the side of his high mount. There was no ladder.
Mm-hmm.
He climbed out of his car, right? Everybody knows this is commonplace. This is all day stuff. But guys in offices, they're not thinking about this stuff. Now, if we had to make if we made it so when they crawl out of their office that they can only open the door this far, maybe we should try that.
Well, just something as simple as access to a restroom. They get up from the desk and go when they need to go.
That's what we should do. We should pitfall the executive's office to replicate what it's like in the transport parking lot. You can't use the bathroom. You're going to have to exit the building and go across the street. We're going to turn off some of the lights. We're going to leave all the windows open. Right?
Strap them into their chair
right,
and
exactly.
sit there for 4 hours without even stretching your legs.
Every 30 minutes, somebody comes in and starts making noise and flipping lights. Maybe it's close. So, wild stuff. So, I mean, that's what that segment's all about. Wow. We got 10 minutes left. That was good stuff, though. That was some classic D.O.T. compliance stuff. What else we got here? We've got, oh, yes, of course. And Victory Lap, he emailed us. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so number one, okay, so I've got a photo of their. I'm not going to share the company stuff. I don't want to do that. And all right, I'm just going to share this real quick. So we got. He's saying that he's seeing right vehicles in the wrong position. Okay, so here's how we doing, Brian. How we doing? We okay? What do you think of this?
Oh, can you make it any bigger?
Yeah. Let's see here. How about that? Can you see that?
Almost.
How about that? Can you see that?
Yes, I can. It is. You're not prepared to put this up on the big screen, and I'm trying to look at it on a little screen about 2 foot away from me. My age is showing. So describe the image for the audience, Jay.
What I'm looking at is, well, it's a dually with a 3-car wedge. He's got a sedan in the first position backwards. And then what is that Jeep? What is that vehicle in the middle there? There's nothing in the third position. And
that looks like
oversized tires.
The Jeep
what
pickup truck on it.
And I think he's also saying something about the straps, but I can't see it. So
yeah, we might have to come back to this one, not next week, but the following week when I can see the picture better, or send me the picture and then I'll dissect it and we'll talk about it live.
All right, cool. Well, we just learned something live. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, you learned my eyes suck.
Hey, all right. This is pretty funny. I know this isn't auto transport, but this is a great loader sneaking to lunch half finished, halted by tight scheduled super trucker. That is really a great photo. That took some work too, didn't it?
Yes.
That is awesome.
The general freight guys would love to be able to do that.
And the boss is really happy that they took the time to do that.
I'm sure.
Let's see. Okay, court reinstates independent contractor rule. Anything to add on this?
Sure. The Biden administration and Labor Secretary Walsh had one of the first actions they took was to not put into place a Trump-era independent contractor rule that would have more clearly defined who an independent contractor is. Instead, they chose to use the much more restrictive definition, or I should say more loosely define what an independent contractor is. And so this went to court. The court said no, they didn't use the proper procedure to not put that rule in place. So until they either appeal or create another rule, we're back to having a little more permissive who is an independent contractor, because it's no secret that the current administration is waging war on the gig economy, independent contractors, and such. And they would, if they had their way, the current U.S. Department of Labor policy would all but eliminate independent contractors. And are there some abuses? Absolutely. Are truckers normally abused? No. There are some abuses in our industry, but this has the potential to completely upset the owner-operator model if the Biden administration gets their way. So for now, this is a good thing. It'll tie it up in court for a couple of years, or rulemaking for a couple of years. We can carry on business as usual.
What bothers me about this stuff is two things. One is that everybody gets a chance to high five about the woke liberals, which I get tired of that, just like I get tired of, okay. And then the second thing is that the world has much bigger problems than trying to figure out how to stop people from running a business.
Right. Not everybody wants to be an employee, even when there are similar employee positions available. I mean, I could be a safety director for a large fleet and make more money than I make running my own company. I could give up chasing around the country delivering these trucks, which I still enjoy doing, and work as a truck driver if I wanted to. But no, I've owned my own trucks. I've worked as an independent contractor most of my adult life, and I am quite happy doing things the way that I do them. I don't need the, quote, guarantee or promise of protections from an employer to make my life complete. And so just like I say in trucking, where we have everything from the 1-car hauler to the 11 and 12-car stingers, that there's a butt for every seat. Well, there's a person for every job. And if some of us choose to want to be a little more free and independent, then that shouldn't be chastised and destroyed by the government because they're afraid of independent businesses.
By the way, the other side of woke liberals is federal insurrections. Thanks for playing. SWAT.
I am a card-carrying libertarian.
That's
I make my living with compliance and regulations.
I believe in actual freedom, not just spoken stuff.
The only reason I do what I do is we have to know the rules of the game that we're playing in until they change.
By the way, there was a question about swapping by the side of the road, which I think is a new country song. Swabbing by the side of the road. Silverman, what's up with proposed swab test roadside? Now, boy,
this goes back to the early predecessors, so late 80s, early 90s, when they first introduced drug and alcohol testing as a federal mandate to the trucking industry. They had done a pilot program where during a DOT check, you would be expected to give a instant sample of urine that would then be collected and tested so that they could truly surprise you with a drug test. And that went away, and we went to the system we've had now for the last almost 30 years. And well, now they're looking at introducing oral fluid testing as a compromise between the large motor carriers that belong to the ATA and the Truckload Carriers Association that want hair testing to be an acceptable alternative to urine. And we know hair testing is not as accurate for immediate impairment. People of color and people with damaged or color treated hair get false positives more frequently, so it's not effective. Oral fluid testing, however, is nearly as effective, not enough to make a difference, as urine, and it's not nearly as invasive as, say, the return to duty after you had a positive result, where a collector has to physically watch the urine leave your body and enter the collection cup for a direct observed test. Here, we can do a direct observed test on everybody and eliminate almost all uncertainty about cheating. The test can be done cheaper, quicker, and most likely where you won't even have to go to a special facility to collect. It's easier to train someone how to collect an oral fluid swab. So they're talking about maybe reintroducing that as random roadside testing again. I don't know if that's going to make it where it's going to go. It's just an idea because, after all, we have 99% compliance rate in the trucking industry where we pass our drug tests and have no substance abuse problems, but because we have just slightly greater than 1% that fail a drug test every year, the majority of that is for using marijuana and marijuana derivatives, oftentimes legal, but not legal as a truck driver. They've decided that the trucking industry needs to be scrutinized more closely for drug and alcohol abuse, and this is one of their proposed solutions.
I think watching the urine leave the body is a Nine Inch Nails movie. No?
Believe me, it's not fun. In the early 90s, we had to do that in transportation, and I had to submit to and collect tests like that. It is not fun.
Man. No, that is wild stuff. Walmart greeter's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, man. We're at 12. We just hit 12:30, so I know I got to let you go. We got other stuff in the mailbag that we'll get to next time. That's pretty much what I do, is I just keep pushing the mail. That's my job here at 12:30 on a Wednesday. So, Brian, thank you so much again for taking the time. This was fun. And no show next Wednesday.
No show next Wednesday because I'm going to be doing my duties as the executive director of the Pennsylvania Towing Association, and our board meeting starts the same time this show goes live. The following Wednesday, I should be good, and the one after that, I'll be in Orlando, Florida. But you're not.
Okay, so the 13th, I think we're going to be live at Auto Intel Summit with Ty. So no show next week.
So we might be missing DOT for 2 weeks.
But the 20th we're back Even though
We
you're
should-
in Orlando?
We should be
Maybe.
because I'm just setting up for the tow show in Orlando, Florida. So I should have no problem making it live for that one.
Okay. All right, cool. That's cool. So on the 20th, when we catch up with you, you'll be live in Orlando. Oh, that's so nice. Victory Lap Transport just said hit the like button. Oh, darn it all. Thank you so much. We really do enjoy this show. We hope you enjoy it too. We hope it's entertaining and informative. Don't forget, you can get the podcast, listen to it at home, have the kids listen to it, and yeah.
And on my shameless plug on
Yeah.
the On the Road with Your DOT
Oh, yeah.
Guy podcast, available wherever you find podcasts. The current episode is on fuel saving tips and fuel purchasing strategies, which we know is important today. I don't know what's going to be up next, although I will in the next couple weeks have an episode on evaluating your business for sale and or purchasing a competitor, because consolidations are going to happen in this market, and maybe you're in a position to be bought up, or you're in a position to buy up some of your weaker competitors and gain access to their equipment, drivers, and their workload. So check out On the Road with Your DOT Guy, Brian Riker, available anywhere you get podcasts. And remember, just like this show, give me 5 stars, even if I don't deserve them. Click share, teach somebody how to find a podcast if you like the content. And please send me ideas, comments, good, bad, and indifferent, on air at YourDOTGuy.com. And if you forget everything else, just go to YourDOTGuy.com and you can find a link to the show and much more there.
Perfect. Brian, thank you so much. And again, if you missed the show live, put it in the YouTube comments. Check out Brian's podcast. Brian, thank you so much for another great show.
See ya.
Okay. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, live chat. And be sure to tune us. Oh, dude. I got so excited. I tripped over my words. Join us tomorrow on Dispatching Live. I found a thing. Okay, so there's an argument over a load, and I think the broker says, well, the boss is also a lawyer and we're going to sue you. So you got to tune in for that. Dispatching Live, always at noon on Thursdays. Thank you so much, everybody. Peace out. Stay safe. And we'll see you soon. Thanks.